What's up, Dokkan Battle gamers? Had to give me that quick close up,
That's terrifying.
Anyway, it's been a while since I've been here, but hello, thank you everyone for tuning in to this week's episode of the Slot One Super Podcast, episode 45, 9th anniversary and global, super hype, super exciting, lots to talk about, and we have a special guest. Guys, it's on the screen, but guess who? Say hi, our special guest, our lovely guest. Hello.
Global Dokkan is just better. That's my intro for today.
Let's go. You guys, kick him out, actually.
Let's go.
It's like, restart this stream. We'll be back in 5 minutes, and she's going to be gone. Anyway, no. Mr. Baby, lovely to have you here. Of course, we also have the two other hosts, per usual, Dokkan Assets and the Masked Ningen.
Yo,
what's up, boys?
How's it going,
gosh, I just
everyone?
noticed, Ningen. I have not seen a Dark Souls statue in the background of your room. That's sick.
Yeah, it was somewhere else slightly, but we have a new kitten who
Oh, that looks pretty cool, yeah.
knocked it over the other day, so I moved it somewhere else.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But yeah, he's got pride of
That's
place
sick.
behind me there.
Well, anyway.
Praise the sun. Yeah.
Praising the sun, the
That's
goat.
right.
Yeah. But, we have a decent amount of things to talk about because, again, global anniversary just started. The banners have been out for a few days, everything like that, And let us know in the chat if you're here live or, if you're watching after, what your summons were like. Did you get lucky and who did you summon for? And I guess we'll just hop right into there. Baby, how did your summons go for the 9th anniversary of Broly and Gogeta's banners?
So we pulled Mr. Legic in chat is crazy, by the way. Anyways, we pulled Broly. We pulled Broly the second multi.
Nice.
And then I finished that rotation with 2 Brolys and 1 Frieza, so very happy about that. And then I got Gogeta. I believe it was on the second to last multi, the first rotation as well. So we walked away. A lot of luck. I'm just happy because I thought I was going to end up spending way too much before part 2, but we still got a good amount of stones for part 2, so I'm happy. I'm definitely happy.
Nice.
Hey, to play luck, right?
Definitely,
Yeah. So there you go. If you guys got shafted, blame Mr. Baby because he stole all your luck, man.
No, I didn't get him first multi, though. There's so many people that got him first multi. Blame them, not me. Come on now. Wait, to be fair, I haven't summoned on global since December 14th before the anniversary, so I deserve that.
Dude.
No,
I
you
deserve
did.
that.
You saved
I
all
deserve
this
it.
time.
I deserve
You
it.
saved.
That
Well, I
is
mean, if you think about it, you
crazy.
saved all this time, and you could have just kept summoning and gotten the same results then.
Yeah,
Well,
that is true.
I mean,
Oh,
Awkward.
jeez. Yikes.
I won't forget that, by the way.
No. Yeah, you got so many stones for Beast. You're surely gonna rainbow him. Gammas are pretty sick as well. But Masked Ningen, how did your summons go? I was not available to watch them, unfortunately, but I heard
Yeah,
you got
I,
decent luck based on what you said.
Yeah, I got very lucky as well, to be fair. I started off with the tickets, because obviously Global had those packs you could buy in the lead up to the anniversary, so you got 10 tickets for each banner, and then they dropped some tickets when the banners came out. So I started off with the tickets for Broly, didn't really get anything interesting. Then I pulled Gogeta from the tickets on his banner. And so then, switching over to the stone summons, I pulled Broly on the first multi, and then by the end of the rotation had pulled another Broly. So really, in terms of actually getting the unit, I definitely can't complain. I know it's always nice, if you're going into a summon session, dropping a bunch of stones, getting some dupes and stuff like that. But obviously we all know that feeling of when you're 1,000 stones deep or whatever, and you still haven't actually pulled a single copy. So getting them both really early on was obviously quite the relief. But I didn't get a copy of Golden Frieza. So I decided, since I got Gogeta, I haven't actually done any stone summons on Gogeta's banner at all. I've just got him at 55%. But I think in total now I've done 4 or 5 rotations on Broly's banner. And so I've ended up with him with 2 dupes, but I still haven't pulled a copy of Golden Frieza. So unfortunately, it's one of those things where it's not really a good idea to chase the banner unit. So I'm probably just gonna have to give up for now. But that leaves me with still a decent number of stones. Like I still have a bunch of sale packs that I could pick up, but even if I didn't buy any more stones, by the time we get to part 2, I'm still going to easily be back up over 1,000. So overall, I would say it went very well in terms of the summons. So definitely can't complain.
So you stole everyone's luck then, basically, by pulling from the first multi.
Well,
Okay, got it.
yeah, maybe.
That's kind of crazy. So yeah, in fact, Mr. Baby, I apologize. We should blame the master.
Yeah, I was gonna say, come on now. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I got it. Everyone, leave a like on the stream if you think Ningen should not get lucky in part 2.
Wow.
I have never hit the like button faster on the video, by the way.
Damn.
I'm messing with that.
Yeah, that's crazy. Go to Mastingen's every single one of his anniversary videos. Be like, I hope you get shafted. That's all I say. Okay. But Mr. Baby, did you get in Frieza? Right? He's actually pretty good. I feel like.
Yeah, first rotation, I got Frieza as well. That's why I said I got super lucky.
That was pretty good.
I don't have to go back into the banner. Frieza's also, I would consider him one of the better banner units to release this year. So to be able to actually get in first rotation again, it's just like I'm not struggling with what Ningen's going through with having to go back in for the banner, because I definitely would do that for him. So
I think the thing with Frieza, I guess maybe we could start talking about the units a little. Unless Ningen, you wanted to say something.
I was just gonna say, like, you really notice the difference, because like when I'm building the super bosses team, like,
oh yeah,
there's this like I get to the sixth, like picking the 6th unit, and it's like, this is where I'd put my golden Frieza if I had one.
Yeah, and there's this weird thing about Broly Trio not being out yet.
Yeah, exactly.
By this time in GP, by this time in GP, they're out.
Well, I think we counted it up on stream. Like, if it's the same number of days that it was on JP, we'll get the Broly Trio EZA on Tuesday. So
yeah,
on Tuesday. Are you sure?
It was like 8 days. It was like 8 days after the banner or something, I think, when it was.
It dropped on the 6th on JP, which is about 8 days.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Broly, was it really that long?
Yeah, it'd be like Monday evening if you're in Pacific time, but it'll be Tuesday
so they
morning
dropped
for me.
on the 5th of February, and then the banners did come out. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I see. That makes sense then. Okay. Then we don't have to worry about that for now. But no, Broly Trio, when they come, they'll be a very useful option for the Broly and Gogeta teams. But yeah, we're gonna hop into the units real quick. I just want to say, we talked a little bit about Frieza. Maybe we can cover him real quick. Just in a GP perspective, I feel like Frieza has gained even more value throughout the year, because when all the anniversary content finished coming out, the thing is that a lot of them were a lot longer fights, and Frieza is a character that he loses reduction over time, and whilst he's still good in those fights, he could be caught lacking in certain situations. But I think a lot of the content that's coming out, like Kid Buu, the Blue Evolution Vegeta fight, Cell Max, right? Most of the hardest fights in the game are now, I think, short content still. So that allows Frieza to really be able to withhold his own. Especially because how he loses his reduction is different from the LR Golden Frieza, because it is specifically the turns he's on. So you could float him off and he still only loses 10% of that reduction, compared to LR Golden Frieza. If you float that guy off, he'll lose multiple damage reduction turns, right? Because of the fact that it also counts in the rotations that the LR is not on rotation. But again, this in Golden Frieza is different, so that's also a really good thing. But in terms of what's available on global, how are you guys feeling about the Int Frieza if you do have him, right? I know, Ningen, you said that you did not grab him, if I'm not mistaken. So, Mr. Baby, what do you think about him in terms of in-game usage?
So for Broly specific, I mean, I know we're talking about Frieza, but since I pulled Broly, I've been mainly running him on the Super Saiyans and Pure Saiyans team. So I've only used him with Frieza like once or twice. But when I do use Frieza, I feel like the damage reduction fall off for him isn't really that big of a deal for me, because as long as he's with Broly, he still has that extra 20%. So he starts off with 60 for one turn. But then once he falls off with the other turns, he can still get up to a max of 60. So it's still a pretty good amount of damage reduction. And since he's in the 3rd slot anyways, and he's greatly raising his defense, I feel like after he's super tech, he's going to be fine in slot 3 anyways. He didn't cause me any issues, and he got my Broly up to like 20 mil attack side at 55%, which of course is just amazing. So having
That's
and
pretty good.
super bosses isn't really the, it's not a weak team, but it's not. It needs all the help that it can
Yeah,
get.
it's not quite there
So
yet.
yeah. So he is like that must-run support option for super bosses. So he hasn't caused me any issues. He's gotten my units up there. I mean, I really do love using him. I couldn't wait to actually pull him when he dropped on global. So I'm just happy that he's part of the team, I guess.
I think he's just a very nice little option. And as more of the anniversary, like kind of characters appear, or more of these super bosses characters appear, you'll see that Frieza, you could slide in and out some of the options on the team, depending on the specific situation. But again, I think on a lot of these stages, Frieza is really, really good. But now we can move on to I think the two big boys. I know Mr. Baby you talked about him a little, but I think we'll start off with Gogeta, right? Gogeta is we haven't really talked about him much yet. I think he's very powerful still, even in terms of JP content. But again, a lot of this is because of Global 9th Anniversary. So, Ningen, what are your experiences with Gogeta? How do you feel about him overall in the current landscape of Global?
So yeah, he's an interesting one, I think, because I've tried him out in a bunch of different events now, including like Red Zone Kid Buu, which of course is an event that wasn't out when the anniversary happened on JP. And one of the things I noticed is like he's really good and he's really well suited to a lot of these situations, especially Kid Buu because of like the type coverage and stuff. Because obviously Kid Buu's STR at first, but Gogeta has guard, and then Kid Buu is physical, and so Gogeta has type advantage, and then obviously dodge once he's transformed. But I feel like, at least for now, it's like the rest of the team around him kind of lets him down on certain teams, because obviously his team is movie heroes, which obviously, we're all waiting for the big boy himself in part 2 to make the movie heroes / superheroes team go absolutely crazy. But yeah, trying to run like double Gogeta leads and run an actual movie heroes team. Some of those units really struggle now against Kid Buu. So whilst Gogeta was able to look really good, I wasn't really that impressed like with his team, at least the way it is now. So the most fun I've been having using him is using him on other teams. So like one of the teams Mr. Baby mentioned, right, like the Super Saiyan team, using him with the Tech Saiyan Day
That's
Vegeta.
so fun.
Yeah, that was one of the things that we all talked about, like back when Saiyan Day was happening, and like I mentioned it in like the Summon or Skip video that I made. It's like, we all want to save stones for the anniversary, but both the anniversary headliners are going to be on this guy's team. So if you get Tech Vegeta, like that Super Saiyan team is just so much fun with Broly and Gogeta on it. Because Broly gets the full 200%, Gogeta only gets 170, but is still good enough, right? Especially if you want to use him for like floating him, rainbow orb changing, transform him straight away. Like,
Exactly.
yeah, he could be really, really good. So I'm definitely having fun using him, but his team, like his 200%, I think, like Super Boss is, like, it'll get more buffs, I know, with part 2, but for now, I think his team is a bit, but the unit himself, I think, is really good and really fun to use.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. And, I feel like the thing with Gogeta is a lot of what he's good about isn't because of his stats, right? Like how hard he's hitting or how good he's defending, even though he does do both of those roles pretty well overall. I think that the biggest thing is a lot of the utility he has and his flexibility, right? Which is why, you're able to run him on a bunch of these different teams, right? He's super effective, which, I think you'll see later on. Super effective, some of these bosses have like pretty decent defenses, so to where super effective, whilst it does help, you could really feel like a difference between crits and super effective, which he does get post transforming. But the thing is, his rainbow orb changing, the ability to float him, the healing he has, the target skill you could eventually get. I feel like in a lot of global content right now, you probably aren't able to get the target skill off, and that's how I really remembered it on JP, right? If I'm not mistaken. Have you guys had that similar experience with the target skill currently?
I know for me, like, as using that specific example, like trying to do the Kid Buu stage, I tried out his team, and then I tried him out on the Blue Boys from the Worldwide, because they're another one of his 200% leaders, and I could not get his target ability a single time. Like, I either died before getting to that point, or just beat the event before getting to that point. So it's annoying, because you have to float him off at certain times, or it's one of those awkward things where if you float him off straight away so you can get the transformation as quickly as possible, then obviously you miss out on the fact that he does stack defense on his 18 key super.
Yeah.
So then you get to the point where you do transform him and then he has a 70% chance to dodge, but it's that typical like the old UI Goku meme where it's like, yeah, you have a 70% chance to dodge, but if you don't dodge, then his defense isn't actually that great. Which is unfortunate. So there's kind of like the weird situation where it's like if you don't float him off his second turn, he still has guard, but can be a little bit awkward because he doesn't have dodge or anything yet. And then once he's transformed, the turn where you transform him, you basically rely on him to dodge, right? And then obviously the turn after, that's when you get the active skill, and then it's fine. But yeah, obviously in some of the content, like the longer stuff, like some of the events, like if you just want to go into events and mess around with teams, I really like doing the Martian Power Absorption, like stage 3 of the Boo Red Zone, or the God Goku, stage 1 from like the Blue Zone, and just don't bring tech units. And then because obviously that AGL Goku takes so much less damage, you can build a bunch of these crazy teams and actually get to see like everyone's transformations and stuff like that. But yeah, in a lot of the content, I feel like sometimes you can miss getting his target ability because it's like the earliest you can use it is if you get him on turn 1 and you float him. The earliest you're going to use it is like turn 6. So
Yep. And that's what I usually do. And again, I think that one thing is that Gogeta on global, like who would you guys say is the strongest unit on global right now? In terms of like at least Dokkan Fest LRs, is it Gogeta? Because like who else is out? I think because Global doesn't have UI. Global does not have Beast Gohan. Global
Rub
does
it
not
in.
have
Keep
Beast
rubbing it in,
Ace.
man. Keep rubbing it
But,
in.
but
Yeah.
a lot of those things are coming like within the next few weeks, right? I'm just trying to think. So like it's a thing where my point is Gogeta's a character where you're like, oh, you know, he's like my strongest character on the team. I have to keep him on rotation and want the extra stacks, right? He's gonna
Yeah.
help carry the team so hard. But as you build up the superheroes team throughout the anniversary, you know, even movie heroes, his own team, you'll see that, oh, you know, I kind of don't actually have to keep him on rotation anymore because there's other rotations I could use that are on that level or better than the rotations I could have with Gogeta. And that will allow you to get his targets go easier because you're just going to be floating them off anyways. I think it's something that, you know, when he came on GP at first, I was like, you know, I'll have to keep him on rotation. It could be a little difficult to get it. Then it became a little easier. But again, one thing is that they have been going back to shorter content as well in terms of GP like being the stronger content in the game. So with that in mind, it's like still a little difficult to get it. But what I would say is that I think the actual target skill ability itself might still be overall the strongest like ability of what you get with the target skill because you get, well, first you get his full stats at the start of the turn, right, which is not that big of a deal because it's slot 2, but you get an attack off, you get the target skill, and you guarantee dodge, right? And the thing about dodging that's really good is the fact that a lot of these bosses will end up start doing abilities such as, let's say, they could stun you or seal you. Like you'll see that in like when that Soda Hope Trunks fight comes out, you guys will see, you know, he's able to lock you. The last phase hits you like 1.5 mil, and they just stun you, and you can't attack at all in slot 1, right? And if it's a character like Gogeta out there, she could have the target skill, and he's like, no, I don't get stunned. No one gets stunned, right? Which is really good. So yeah, that's one thing I really do like about Gogeta specifically in terms of the target skill, but it can take some time to actually get that off compared to other ones. So that's where it's like a trade-off. It's a stronger